Hey family, welcome back to the channel, Celebrity Scandalous. And I'm going to be pretty quick about this one because I don't think it requires a very lengthy or detailed video. But there's been this rumor trending on TikTok and just circulating on Beyonce's internet. And basically it's the story that, you know, the new song that she did, Daughter. People are saying that it's the story of her. Well, actually not the story, but it's a confession. People are alleging that it's a confession of her unaliving, red rumming Jay-Z's alleged mistress, Kathy White. Now, my daughter told me about this about 3 or 4 weeks ago. She's like, Mom, this is trending on TikTok. And I was like, come on, that's ridiculous. Come on now. Anybody would know that. My dog just barked, giving his sign of approval that it's ridiculous. Why would Beyonce write a song about her unaliving Jay-Z's alleged ex-mistress? And I say ex because, you know, well, unfortunately, the young lady has passed. She's deceased. And there's this controversy surrounding her death because people really don't know. A lot of the reports have been vague and people are just not believing the fact that she could have just, you know, died at a young age. I mean, things happen. But, you know, anything surrounding Beyonce and Jay-Z and all this, you know, Hollywood stuff, and especially with everything surrounding Diddy, people are just finding rumors and myths, you know, just creating folklore. But anyway, I said, well, let me lend my ear to this and just, you know, kind of pay attention and see what's going on. So before I give my commentary, which I've just talked a little bit about it, let's listen to what they're saying on TikTok. And so I will play a video of a young lady talking about it. But let's listen to this.
This story about Beyonce and Jay-Z. Beyonce and Jay-Z are married, right? And they have a bunch of kids together. Everyone knows Blue Ivy. She was the couple's first child together. And you see this lady right here? That's Kathy White. She was allegedly Jay-Z's mistress for like a really, really long time. Anyways, right around the time that Beyonce got pregnant and announced her pregnancy with Blue, a bunch of news came out that Jay-Z was, of course, messing with Kathy. And I believe the song, people are now saying that the song of Beyonce, Ring the Alarm, is actually about Kathy. And anyways, so Beyonce supposedly called Kathy and was like, hey, don't mess with my man. And right now, as you know, Cowboy Carter was just released and Beyonce has a song on there called Daughter. If you look at the lyrics, they're a little sketchy and people immediately noticed it and were like, wait, what is this song about? First, pause to read. And this is the second part, pause to read. So you guys remember this little debacle that Beyonce had a while ago when she was pregnant with Blue and she was on an interview and she bent over and her baby bump basically like collapsed. People were like, we understand Beyonce's having a baby, but maybe she's not carrying the baby because in celebrity world, that's normal. You know, surrogacy is definitely a thing. But now, ever since Cowboy Carter came out, a bunch of drama has been stirred up all over it. Now everyone thinks that Kathy White is Blue Ivy's actual mom because of the resemblance. But get this part. You ready for this? Kathy passed away on the same year that Blue was born. A relatively healthy 28-year-old Kathy passed away in her apartment of an aneurysm. So a lot of people came out with theories saying like, oh, it was Jay-Z. He just wanted to get rid of her and then they kept the baby and then they raised the baby as their own or whatever. But then you had the little feud between Jay-Z and Kanye. And Kanye came out and said that Jay-Z, got of his mistress because it was a problem with Beyonce. And now with the release of Cowboy Carter, this has kind of stirred everything all up again and people are breaking down the timeline. So supposedly when you line up Kathy's death, it would have put Blue Ivy as like a 6-month-old if you were like gestationally pregnant. A lot of people believe that she was taken out and then they took Blue Ivy and raised her as their own. And Beyonce walked around a few months after she announced that she was pregnant with Blue and that Blue is not her daughter. Of course, all of this is allegedly. Please don't sue me. But the reason that this is all being like stretched out all over again is because of the entire P. Diddy thing. People are saying in order for P. Diddy to get kind of out of his situation, he might, you know, snitch on Jay-Z, of course, allegedly. So I'm gonna wait for updates on this. And of course, I'll fill you in. Again, this is all alleged. I love Beyonce. Please don't come for me.
Okay. So there you have it. I mean, there's just so much to unpack right there. Seriously, there's just a lot to unpack. Let's just start with the fact that there was a rumor that Jay-Z did have a mistress and that she did pass. There was a reporter that came forward and said she was going to interview the young lady, Kathy White, just a week before she was, that she died. However, she was saying, there have been rumors that Claudia Jordan was friends with her and all of this other stuff, which Claudia is denying. She's saying that she met her a few times, which who knows? I mean, it's just kind of hard to just confirm whether or not they were actually friends. And I say that because, honestly, Claudia would probably want to distance herself from this story at this point. So that's all still speculation. There's no facts surrounding that. In terms of her death, it does seem mysterious. I think they're saying that she passed from an aneurysm. I mean, and that's possible. Like, some of these things are really possible. But where it gets a little murky and just a little bizarre for me is when people are saying, now, could Jay-Z have possibly unalived her? It's possible. These are allegations. I'm not saying he did. I'm just repeating what is already on the internet, what people are discussing. I don't put anything past anybody. People are unalived all the time. I've had a couple people in my family unalived. So people do get unalived. It's unfortunate, but it happens. Are wealthy people, people of power, are they exempt from doing something like that? Absolutely not. Oftentimes, they are more driven and they have a bigger reason to do it because of wealth and power and whatever. So could I believe that a person like Jay-Z could do something like that? Absolutely. Because at the time that all of this occurred, Jay-Z and Beyonce were kind of on the brink, of their mega success as a, power couple, and Beyonce was pregnant. Now, do I believe Beyonce is capable? Like I said, anybody, any human being is capable of anything. However, I personally, not just because she's Beyonce, I just don't really see that Beyonce would do something like that. Could her husband, given his history, the fact that he slung pharmaceuticals, and his hood past, it's possible. I mean, he allegedly, well, not allegedly, but he did kill somebody with a knife. So he's had his situations with the law. Beyonce on the other end, not saying that she's a choir angel or anything like that, but you've never really heard of Beyonce having, a criminal past. She had a pretty soft life growing up, right? Catholic school and everything like that. So I really just don't believe she's really capable of that. And to be honest, I don't think most human beings just go around unaliving people. I mean, and for those that do, I mean, you see where most of them are, unless they get away with it. I just don't think it's common for people to just be unaliving folks. So to put that rap on Beyonce, I'm just not buying it. I really feel like if you're going to say something like that, you need some hardcore facts. She just doesn't strike me as the type of woman to be just that vindictive. And I just don't get that feel from her. But my disclaimer will be, of course, anything is possible. We don't know these celebrities in their real lives. We just don't know. But I think it's just preposterous. So the woman goes on to say that Kanye West made a statement that Jay-Z unalived his mistress. People, if you look at all of these YouTube videos now with AI and everything, people are just telling all these stories. It's a lot of fiction and it's great. I mean, if you're just wanting to listen to stories about things, especially if something has been sensationalized, the way that this whole P. Diddy story is unfolding, now everybody that has been unalived, they're saying Diddy did it. And I don't believe that either. I believe Diddy has done some things, but everything he's responsible for now. So the statement that she made that Kanye West said Jay-Z unalived his mistress, weird. I mean, when you're going to make comments like that or make those inflammatory statements, you should be able to get a soundbite. I mean, even though we have AI, so even that is something that, would be up for speculation and it's not necessarily verifiable, but just to make these random statements about people, if you've not heard them say it and you can't cite a source, I think that's poor journalism. And I'm not saying this, this is YouTube, TikTok. So journalistic integrity goes out the window, but just to say things like that, if you're telling a story about something, maybe say you heard, or because you're just not citing anything. So when I hear people say things like, Kanye West said this. I want to be able to go and look it up and look at his lips move. Like I said, with AI, anything is possible, but I want to be able to see it with my eyes and hear it with my ears. Oh yeah, he did say that. Don't just tell me, because that's very inflammatory. You're saying this, you know, Kanye has accused this man of unaliving somebody. People go to prison behind stuff like that. You just can't randomly throw facts. Well, not even to be a fact, but you just can't make statements like that. And people, I think with this whole Diddy case, we're seeing a lot of things being said that are not substantiated. It's a lot of hearsay, he say, she say, with no concrete evidence, you know? So in that case, I question that comment with the whole Kanye West said that. I mean, Kanye has said some crazy things about Jay-Z, but I have not heard that one. And I'm not saying that he didn't say it, but please, if somebody has heard him say it, please put it in the comments so I can go look it up for myself, because I couldn't find it anywhere. Then she goes on to talk about the fact that they believe that Kathy could have been the surrogate. I mean, I've heard this, and I've heard different versions of the story, right? I've heard different versions of it. It's just too convoluted. It really don't make a damn lot of sense, okay? Now, they go on to talk about the fact that Beyonce was pregnant at the time that she was unalive, and that maybe Kathy was actually the surrogate or the mother. So they're saying she was the surrogate, but that Blue Ivy looks like Kathy White. Like, if she's the surrogate, then that just means she's carrying the baby, right? I mean, that doesn't mean that she was the one impregnated. I mean, you know, she is the person. It could have been Beyonce's and Jay-Z's baby, and that she was just the surrogate. So where would the resemblance be, right? So I thought that was weird. And they talk about the whole, the whole incident where Beyonce was sitting down and allegedly the pillow, or that it was a fake pregnancy, and that could be true. I don't doubt that. I don't doubt that could happen, because you know, we see, like with the Kardashians and a lot of women now, they do have surrogates. You know, they want to have their own children, and for whatever medical reasons or whatever their reasons are, they don't want to carry the child. I mean, to me, that was the best part of being a mother. I wanted to experience all of it, but to each his own. So could she have had a surrogate? Yes. But now, do we really believe that Kathy was the surrogate and they unalived her, took the baby? It just falls apart to me. It's just too much going on. And they unalived her, took Blue Ivy and raised her, which it was their baby in the first place, I guess, because she was the surrogate. It's not making sense. And then there's these the story that Jay-Z bought both of the women matching rings, like engagement rings. And so there are pictures of Kathy and Beyonce allegedly having on rings that look alike, right? That is possible as well. I mean, if she was his mistress, you know, I mean, who was it? Was it Fabulous, who said, he has a song, he said, I cop her one and I cop you one too, you know? Like, so men do that. If they have a mistress or a side chick and they have to give a gift, they will give the side chick the same gifts that they give their wives. I mean, we've seen that. So that's not anything, you know, that's unbelievable. But the most unbelievable part for me is just this whole thing that Beyonce was complicit in unaliving Kathy White, and she had something to do with it. It falls flat for me. Okay. So that's one part of it. Now let's move to this song with, you know, her new album. She has a song on there called Daughter. And in the song, you know, the young lady referenced it in the TikTok video. You can find the lyrics online. I can't play the music here because you know how YouTube is. But the thing, and so people are saying, oh, she's confessing about the red rum against Kathy White. First of all, now this is the part that's just ridiculous. If she and Jay-Z did do this together, Bonnie and Clyde, it's people, the Bonnie and Clyde of them, okay? Who would be dumb enough to confess it in via song? That's the first thing. And again, stranger things have happened. So I never want to say that it's impossible, because again, anything is possible. But let's just use some common sense here. Like, why would she even put that in a song for millions of people to dissect and, you know, be able to reference it back and say, oh, this song is about her unaliving somebody. So, I mean, you know, like rappers, they say rappers rap about their real lives, and they do rap about, you know, unaliving people and stuff like that. But the thing about this song is that also Beyonce had about 4 or 5 other co-writers on the song. So if she didn't write this song solely on her own, and she had co-producers, so are we saying that, because the operatic part, those lyrics are from an old opera, so those aren't her lyrics. I mean, that's stuff that has been done before. But the part where she was singing in the preamble to all of that, where she's talking about, you know, how she left him lying there and all this stuff, she wrote that song with other people. So are we saying that she is confessing to a red rum, and the other co-writers on the album, I mean, I guess she gave them the storyline and they assisted her? It's just falling flat for me. And I like a good fictitious story, you know. Sometimes when I'm at work and I'm, you know, heavily in my day, and I just want my mind to just, Calgon, take me away, I will listen to some BS, right? I have friends that just lie just for the merit of lying. That's just what they do, and I entertain it just because it's funny, frivolity. Girl, lie. It's funny. But this right here is ridiculous to me. I don't see, I'm not making the connection. I really just don't believe that Beyonce, I don't believe that Beyonce had anything to do with that young lady's death. And I don't think this song is about it either. I mean, one thing about her, she's definitely got people talking about it. It's trending. And I believe it's like folklore at this point. You know, it's kind of a rumor. And, you know, throughout the years, we hear stories about, I remember growing up, there was a song by the Ohio Players. And in the background, there was a woman who screams. And we were told, you know, I was younger, but I remember my parents listening to that song. And allegedly, a woman was red rum during the recording of that song. And it turns out like 20, 30 years later, we find out, no, there was a woman, they were in the recording studio, and somebody just, you know, she yelled or something, but it wasn't anything like what they said. And I even believe on the album cover, there was a woman on the album cover, and they were pouring honey on her. And so people are saying at that time that they poured the hot honey on her, and she was screaming, and she died from that. And that's what you hear in the background on the record. So I just think people make up these stories. I don't know how these things get started. People have very vivid imaginations. I do as well. You know, I write some short stories sometimes myself. But on this one, I'm going to have to say, nah. And I'm not part of the Beehive, but I just think this one is a bit preposterous. I guess that's my new word. I think I got that from Mike Tyson. Ludicrous. Ludicrous and preposterous. But anyway, y'all, jump in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. But anyway, jump in the comments and let me know your thoughts. And I'll see you on the next video. Bye, y'all.